Thursday, February 13th, 2020. Going to recap some day trades. First off, what did you guys trade today? If anybody had a good trade or saw something today that was interesting, let me know. I'm always interested to learn about how other people day trade. It's just a good way to learn different strategies and just get better at day trading. So just bouncing ideas off everyone. So just leave me a comment if you got a screenshot of a trade you had today. Throw it up there. Definitely love to see it. I traded one stock today, but before we get to that, Kraft Heinz was in the news. I think it had bad earnings, and if you look at the daily chart, it dropped, and I almost took it in the pre-market. You can see here it dropped from about, what did it close yesterday, at 30.04, dropped through this 200 moving average, that green line, dropped all the way down to 29.16, and now it's down to 27.71. And in the pre-market, I was considering it. I was looking at it right about here when it failed VWAP, but you can see it didn't have the volume was all kind of wacky, so I wasn't quite sure, what to make of it, and I didn't want to risk anything. So it moved down, and then you can see it came right back to VWAP. But here, it kept testing it and failing it, I didn't have a good entry on it. So I didn't see a good entry on it. But you can see it had a nice 1 minute opening range break here. First candle of the day, big drop, 29.16 all the way down to what it closed at, 28.76. Right, so 40-cent drop. Then it dropped even more. You could have gotten in here, put your stop. Well, a little tough. If it was near a whole number, it would have been a little easier. But you could have gotten here at 28.73 and ridden it all the way down to about 27.66 for a whole dollar. I had all the signs of a short, really, when you looked at the daily chart. But it was a tough one for me to take. But I did trade MU again, of course. The MU has made me more money in the past 2+ months than anything. It's basically holding my account up. So I just took a quick scalp. It was done in less than a minute. I got in at 9:31 and got out at 9:32:02. Or I got in 9:31 in 10 seconds and got out at 9:32 in 2 seconds. So I'll open this up and show you why. First I'll show you the daily. So it was in the pre-market scans that I had. And it's always on my list just because it's been such a good trade. It's such a good trade, a good stock to trade at the open. But you can see it's not really. There's some resistance up here. I'd be watching if it breaks above this high. I think that might be an all-time high. But it was in the pre-market. You can see it did have some stuff going on above VWAP. And then what happened at the first candle of the day, first 1 minute candle, bottoming tail through VWAP, but it held it. And then it started making its way up. And it kind of whipped around here a little bit. It kind of came down, shot down all the way down to 59.03, but it was above a whole number and it was above VWAP, which I always liked. And I've traded MU so many times this pattern when it's near a whole number that I just said, it's the statistics are in my favor because of how well I've been able to trade it, and I know that it does well above a whole number and above VWAP here, and it was above I believe it was above the pre-market high. Yeah, so the pre-market was, I think the pre-market high was just around 58.94. So it was above that. It was above a whole number and it was above VWAP. So I got in right after the first minute at 59.10 and it shot down a little bit. It actually went up to about 59.817. I tried to get in and I missed it and went up a little more. Then it came back down to 59.10 and I took it. And then I got a little nervous because it went down to 59.2. I had a tight stop. I put my stop right at 58.98, right below VWAP. I said if it comes back down, shoots through VWAP, I'm out, because it when you look at what it did the day before, it was a big down day, right? So if it could totally just continue that downward movement. So I wasn't about ready to let that happen. But I got in and it just blew up. It just went straight up all the way up to the high of this candle was 59.41, and that's exactly, no, I got out 59.42 actually. So I actually got out a little bit above that candle, 59.42 from 59.10. So a 32-cent gain on all my shares. And my first target was 59.34, but it was moving so fast I didn't have a chance to actually get out of it until it actually shot above my first target. Now you can see what happened. It actually came back down, broke through VWAP, but then came back. This was a good re-entry. I was still a little hesitant because I just didn't want to screw up a nice trade I had already in the morning. It was basically just a 1 minute scalp. But you can see it did go back through my first target, and I think it's actually gone up as high as 59.70. So 60 cents above where I got in. But I would have gotten stopped out if I had any remaining shares here. If I didn't take out all my shares, I would have gotten stopped out because my original stop was 59.98. Plus, once it goes through my first target, I move my stop up to my break-even point on any remaining shares anyway. So, good thing I took out all my shares because I would have gotten stopped out of any remaining shares basically when it came back down to VWAP. But this is a good place to possibly re-enter, and I just didn't do it. But I might actually have another run. I don't like the daily as far as having a big move here, because you see this big topping tail from yesterday. That just doesn't make me very confident that it's going to be able to get back to the top of there. There's a lot of sellers brought that back down, but if it stays green today, I'm going to be watching it for certain on Friday to see if it holds this level, then I could totally see it then taking out a new high there, because that's 2 green candles in a row holding this, basically holding this level. But if it drops, I could totally see it coming down to maybe this moving average of 57.28. We'll see. But yeah, I just was really happy about this quick scalp, which I've been doing more and more. It's making. I was so hesitant to do this back in the early day trading days, because I didn't think it was a viable strategy for me because the stock moves too quick. But once you get used to using VWAP and seeing how the stocks move at the open, you can actually do this strategy fairly easily. It's not that hard. You start out with just small share sizes and work your way up. You got to do your research in the pre-market to find the stocks that at least have a little volume in the pre-market. But once all those boxes are checked, if it's above VWAP, if it's breaking that 1 minute opening range, that 1 minute candle, that opening range, if it's above the high of the pre-market, if all the levels check out and all the boxes are checked, it's a good way to trade in the open if you find those trades. So we'll see what happens. It's starting to fade here, maybe coming back down. You can see one of the things about this is on this uses pre-market data. But I have another 15-minute chart. It's not up here. So see on this 15-minute chart, this does not take the pre-market data into account, which is usually what you should be using once the day starts. Your moving averages should not be using the data from the pre-market. And when you don't use the data from the pre-market, this 15-minute chart with a 10 EMA, you can see it's right there at that 10 EMA. So it can it broke above it, but it kind of regressed back to it. So now you can see it might hit its head on that and then work its way back down. And you see there's a lot of pressure above it too, a lot of resistance there. So not sure what will happen, but totally see that going. When you can make an argument for a stock going either way, that's when you kind of push back from the computer and say, all right, I'm going to wait for something more definitive to tell me which way the stock is moving. Now you can see a big topping tail here. I could totally see it failing and then coming back down. So that was a good trade. I was very, very happy with that. Quick scalp for me, and I'll just be sitting back and trying to find more ideal trades down the road the rest of the day. So if you have any trades that you want to tell me about, I would love to see them. Love to learn more about how other people trade. Post a comment and let me know. Good luck trading today, and hopefully be back tomorrow with another trade to show.